Hey, Miss Gia's class. So today in science, we are going to continue talking about stuff that we were talking about earlier, like the weather. Now, you guys all are really good at telling me what the weather is like outside. Is it sunny? Is it hot? What is the weather like today, on Friday? Is it like yesterday? Is the weather the same as when we started school in March? So the weather is changing. Okay. And do you know about the weather, like, what is the sun? What is the sun made of? Or, I don't know, where does rain come from? We're going to talk about that today in our weather presentation. So let's get started. The sun. The sun is actually a star that is burning. So the sun is like the stars you see at night, but very, 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 very big. And it's so big that we can see it even when it's not nighttime, because it's a very big star. And it's on fire. So the sun is on fire. And that is why we feel warm when the sun is out. The sun gives us daylight, and it also gives us heat. When it is a sunny day, you can feel the heat from the sun on your skin. So you remember, especially in summer, when you go outside and you can feel the sun and it's so hot. That's because the sun is a star that is on fire. And the fire reaches all the way down to the earth and we can feel it. So imagine it must be very, 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 very hot for us to feel it all the way here. Rain. Well, rain usually happens when there are very dark clouds in the sky. And these clouds are usually dark because they are carrying lots of tiny drops of water. So these clouds are very heavy with water, and they're very dark. Imagine, do you remember the last time it rained here in Santiago? I think it was last month. How the sky was gray, you could not see the sun, so cloudy, and the clouds were full of rain. So when the drops in the clouds fall to the ground, we say it is raining. And so you see these people have their umbrellas. Maybe you have rain boots or a rain jacket when it's raining to make sure you don't get wet. Clouds. So clouds are made of lots of tiny drops of water. So even though a cloud looks solid, it is not solid. If you could touch a cloud, you could put your hand right through the cloud. It is not solid. It is made of lots of little drops of water. Clouds can be different shapes and sizes. They can be really far or close to the earth. Sometimes they are different colors. Maybe they are white. Or, like we talked about when it's going to rain, they can be gray. If you see colored clouds like orange clouds, purple clouds in the morning or at sunset, they are reflecting, or they are taking the color from the sun as the sun comes up or the sun goes down. So the clouds are not actually orange when the sun goes down. But the sun is so strong that it sends its color to all of the things in the sky. So the sky becomes orange, the clouds become orange, but normally clouds are white or gray. Lightning. Ooh, look at this big column of lightning. It's very big. Kind of scary. Now, lightning is electricity. The same thing like if you have to plug in your charger, or I don't know, if you have anything else that you plug into the wall, that needs electricity. And lightning is made of electricity also. That's why lightning is very, very dangerous. That's why you don't want to touch the plug of your wall. You don't want to touch lightning because it can hurt. It can hurt your body. And so usually when we see lightning, it's coming from the sky to touch down onto the ground. So maybe it's going to touch a tree, maybe it touches a building, but lightning always touches something on the ground. Normally, we see lightning during a thunderstorm. Sometimes you might see the lightning and then hear the thunder. Do you guys have the same rule that if you count between lightning and thunder, it tells you how far away the storm is? When I was little, my mom said, okay, you see the lightning and then you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you hear the thunder, you stop counting. So let's say I got to 4. That means the storm is 4 kilometers away. I don't know if you also do this, but when I was younger, my parents told me that is how I could know if the storm was far, far away or close. Snow, one of Miss Gia's favorite weather. So, for me, I grew up in the United States with lots of snow. The snow would be very, very high in the winter, and we wouldn't have school because of the snow. That means it's also very cold, but it's really fun to go play in the snow, to make snowmen, to go sledding. Now, snow is just little tiny soft pieces of ice. Imagine we have our cloud and it's gray and it's full of water, but it's very cold. What happens when we put water in a very cold place? Like imagine in your kitchen, you take water and you put it in your freezer. Not your refrigerator, but your freezer. What happens to the water? That's right, the water freezes. It becomes solid ice. So, snow is just rain in a cold place. It's the same process, but the temperature is low. So that means that the water that's falling freezes and falls like ice. Snow can make different layers on the ground. You can get a lot of snow or very little snow. And sometimes there's no snow, but if it's cold enough, we get ice. We get ice. So if there are puddles on the ground or some wet spots on the street and it gets very, very cold, the water on the street or on the sidewalk will freeze into ice. Now, wind. You cannot see wind because it's just air that is moving. But what you can see is how wind affects other things. So, what does wind do to things outside of our house? That's right, wind makes them move. Wind makes things move. So you might see leaves moving with the wind. You might see your tree moving. Maybe if you're like this guy in the picture, your umbrella gets turned inside out because the wind is very, very strong. Wind is super, super powerful. So sometimes it's fun, but other times it can be very scary when it's super strong wind. A rainbow. So a rainbow normally happens after a storm or after rain. Usually when it's sunny in one part of the sky and maybe still raining in another part of the sky, you get a rainbow in the middle. There are 7 colors in the rainbow. Do you guys know all 7 colors? They're right here. Let's read them together. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So indigo, if you don't know this word, that's okay. It's not a common color, but it's similar to a dark purple. So think of a purple between violet and blue, and that is indigo. And did you guys know that a rainbow actually is a full circle? So we only see the half of the rainbow. So it looks like an upside down U, right? But actually a full rainbow is a circle. We just can't see the other part of it. Did you know that? Miss Gia learned that the other day. That's crazy. And finally, fog. Fog can be kind of creepy, a little scary, depending on where you are. And fog is made of lots of tiny drops of water. So imagine fog is like being in a cloud, but on the ground. So if you ever have been in fog, you know what it's like to be in a cloud. That's crazy. It's like we went to space to touch clouds, but we never left the Earth. And fog makes it difficult to see because all of the little drops of water are very close together. So it makes it difficult to see outside of the fog. All right, friends, now what I'm going to show you is some extreme weather. Do you know what kinds of extreme weather we might see? Let's check. So we might have a tornado. Oops. Let's check out what a tornado looks like.
With winds up to 300 miles an hour and billion-dollar paths of destruction, tornadoes are some of the least understood phenomena in nature. For years, meteorologists and scientists have been trying to decipher how and when tornadoes form. That's why electronics engineer Tim Samaras and his team of storm chasers head straight for the action when everyone else is running away. Samaras travels with all sorts of low and high-tech tracking devices, whatever it takes to get closer than anyone has ever been.
So if you see here,
but scientists still aren't sure exactly what in these conditions causes a tornado to form.
So tornado is very fast wind making the air like a cone. Oh yeah, it's like a 3D cone. It's one of those shapes we looked at in math. And it's just wind, very, very fast wind. And it can be very, very dangerous. It can pick up houses, it can pick up people. Let's see if there's other... So there are people who study these tornadoes, and they go chase them. They go after them to see if they can learn about it. And so tornadoes start up in the sky, and then they touch down on the ground. All right, let's see another extreme weather we might have. Oh, a flood. So a flood, like you can see, is when there's a lot of water. Maybe it rained a lot. Maybe there was a big lake and the lake overflowed and the water went to the town. But it's very sad because the water goes in your house, in your car. Sometimes we have hurricanes, which are very strong storms, and they cause flooding. So you get lots of water from the hurricane. Look at that house. And sometimes people are stuck, they can't leave, so they have to go on the roof of their house. So this is what a flood looks like. This is all water. And so people have to be careful and wait for someone to come get them. What's some other extreme weather? Let's see. Hurricane, drought, monsoon is when there's a lot of rain. So usually before we have a flood, there is a monsoon or a hurricane. And a blizzard, this happens a lot where Miss Gia lived in the United States. A blizzard is when there's lots of snow. So, look at this picture. Those things were cars. There were cars under the snow. Did you guys see that? Let me see if I can pause it. So this thing here, it looks just black, but it's the window of a car. So the snow has gone over it, and it's covering it. Look at that. There was another one. And so that means that there's lots of snow, lots of wind. It's not very safe to drive. And people usually stay in their houses because they cannot leave because the snow will cover the door. And you have to clean your car, which is really difficult. So this is what a blizzard looks like. All right, friends. So this was our report on weather. If you have any questions or you want to tell me about weather that you've experienced, you can send me a video, send me an email. All right? And I will see you guys next week. Have a good weekend.